Hello, I'm Diana Bell Kerr, the pastor of St. John's United Methodist Church in Rohnert Park. This morning I am preaching on Job as part of our Unraveled worship series. Like Job, I know how difficult it is to want to be changed, to be fixed, to be healed in my body and in my spirit. And I know what it's like to want that when the answer seems to be no. About 6 years ago, I was having terrible stomach and GI issues. My body did not feel like me. It felt like I was unraveling. I was fine until I was miserable. I could not go anywhere for fear of needing an emergency bathroom break. It was a very humbling period. My doctor kept suggesting different things and finally sent me to a specialist. I had a huge battery of tests, some of which were worse than the actual symptoms I was facing. Every test kept coming back normal. More tests, more normal scores. The doctor said there were all of these tests we could run next, but he didn't think any of them would tell us something new. We were at a standstill. I was still in pain and discomfort. There was a lot of uncertainty, and I had pinned my hope on this doctor, and he had no ideas. I felt powerless and out of options. And perhaps you can appreciate what it is to face uncertainty when we are feeling pain. How easy it is to begin to feel powerless. And for me, that might be the worst part, the powerless to stop it part. It leaves us feeling vulnerable. And this feeling of vulnerable can be just as painful as whatever is happening to us or to a loved one. It's no wonder then so many of us are good at distracting ourselves from our own pain. We do this when we try to explain it away. We do this when we try to blame someone or something for our pain. And some of us will do almost anything to give ourselves a sense of control. Control the narrative, control the feelings, control the answers. The desire to do, to fix, realize there is nothing we can do except wait, feel, breathe, hope, pray. Powerlessness and vulnerability are not usually feelings we want. Our neighbors know that, our ancestors know that. The feeling of vulnerability is the feeling of how frail our lives are. That life is moving and we can do nothing but be present to what is unfolding. And I think that's where prayer comes in. So I know that many of us, when we talk about suffering and prayer, assume that prayer means to ask God for things, to ask God for healing, to ask God to shift a situation. And asking God for something is one aspect of prayer, and there are many others. There's also the prayer of talking with God, of letting our hearts be open and be vulnerable, and really laying out our concerns. And then trusting that God will hear us and will meet us there, and we will have a sense that we are not alone in our prayer or in our pain. That is the kind of prayer that I think we're hearing in this morning's scripture. So let's turn to that now. Our scripture is from the book of Job, and it is a section that is not typically read in communal worship. It outlines a conversation or perhaps a prayer Job is having with God. Job, a very good man, has just had his entire life as he knew it unravel before him. He lost his wife, his family, his land, and even his health. He didn't see it coming. He didn't deserve the pain he endured. And that is the point of the book, that pain happens, and yet God is still with us. Now Job is desperate to understand why, and to hear God speak to him. So as I read the words from Job, imagine that these words are coming out of a person's mouth whom you love, who is in great pain. When we are through, I will invite you to respond to Job with hearts of compassion. So hear now the words of Job, struggling to find God. From Job 28, chapter 28, verses 12 through 28. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Mortals do not know the way to it, and it is not found in the land of the living. The deep says, "It is not in me," and the sea says, "It is not with me." It cannot be gotten for gold, and silver cannot be weighed out as its price. It cannot be valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious onyx or sapphire. Golden glass cannot equal it, nor can it be exchanged for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of crystal. The price of wisdom is above pearls. The chrysolite of Ethiopia cannot compare with it, nor can it be valued in pure gold. Where then does wisdom come from? And where is the place of understanding? It is hidden from the eyes of all living, and concealed from the birds of the air. Abaddon and Death say, "We have heard a rumor of it with our ears." God understands the way to it, and he knows its place, for he looks to the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. When God gave to the wind its weight and apportioned out the waters by measure, when he made a decree for the rain and a way for the thunderbolt, then God saw it and declared it. God established it and searched it out. And God said to humankind, "Truly, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." I wonder if there was a phrase in there that caught your attention. Job's pain left him searching for God, searching for wisdom, searching for answers. He hears the fear of the Lord is the way. Fear is also translated as awe. Awe in God. That is wisdom. I wonder how you might respond to Job. How might you tell him that you care for him? How might you tell him that you hear him and you know what it feels like to feel hopelessness, to want God to come and to heal the situation, to look for God and not feel or see or experience God? How might you tell him that you do not have the answers and yet you're here with him? The devotional for this week invites us to write a letter to Job. It says, share what you might want to hear from a friend in the midst of inexplicable grief. Offer empathy and presence over answers and explanations. So I invite you now to push pause. Take out a pen and paper or sit down at your computer and write a letter to your friend Job. Try it. Go write that letter. I'll wait. I wonder how that went for you. Excuse me. I wonder if you had to let something unravel in you before you responded with compassion to Job. Did you find yourself trying to help make sense of everything? Or were you able to say, "This is terrible. I'm feeling it too. I am so deeply sorry"? Now, I encourage you to hold on to this note for the next time you are feeling pain and hopelessness. And the next time someone tells you about something painful in their lives, perhaps you can draw upon this experience and meet them in their pain rather than reach for answers or explanations. May God unravel our need for answers and explanations into awe for the wonders of God's expansive mystery. Amen.